The next key variable, of course, is consequence, which is on the other axis. So usually this is safety, assets, environment, and reputation, but essentially it can be anything you want it to be. It could be project risk assessments, which would be considering delays and costs. You'll see also radiological dose mentioned on the screen there. It can be used for particular categories of doses. But essentially anything that you are concerned about that presents your risk. Again, we can see in here there's some use of semi-quantitative data. So you can see there many fatalities, 5 or more, which is semi-quantitative. We've got some qualitative stuff there again, of course, minor, severe, you can see. So these might have an underlying meaning. If you have some additional guidance document, it might tell you what moderate means. It tells you what major means, or maybe you don't. Something we need to remember when we're talking about consequence. So when we're using the risk assessment matrix, we're generally always talking about unmitigated worst case consequence. And we don't want to be thinking too much about safeguarding. What we don't want to do is underplay the worst case consequences of a potentially catastrophic event by taking credit of some of our barriers and controls. We're going to return to that a bit later as well. If we need to do that, how do we do that? So just something to note as well. It's generally easier to visualize a worst case consequence than it is to determine a likelihood. It's just the way the human brain works. So you'll find that if you're in a workshop or a meeting, you'll find agreement on consequence. Generally, not all the time, of course, but you'll find agreement on consequence easier than you might for likelihood.